Crafty, you got anything new for me? Hey there, still don't have any new information. Alright, let's see what you fucking got. New clothes? Nope. Man, thaumaturgic armor, that was a huge jump. I've got a bit of money. Mana static, an area effect spell that increases the cost of magic by 1 AP. Interesting. Creates a shadow zone in which characters cannot be targeted nor target others. Lightning barrier isn't that impressive. By which I mean we'll buy it anyways. Target gains +5 armor up to the maximum of 10. Lasts until combat ends. Pow! Slow 3. Decreases the target's movement by 6 for 3 rounds. I think that would mean they can't fucking move, because the drone can move 7 for 1 AP. Mana static's too expensive, but it's... Oh, consumables. Let's get some of these. +1 spell power. Now, can the fetishes push me over my stat caps? +1 charisma, which I already have. I think I already have the shamanic fetish. Do you have any fetishes in like the $500 range? We'll do this. Force 2 earth, force 2 fire. Confirm. Okay, you swap with this. What? Oh, don't tell me I fucking bought a spell I can't actually use. Oh, shit. Oh, this might be awkward. Thanks, Crafty. Think you just stole some of my money. No. I can get a fetish. That'll get me to Conjuring 7. Can't get the fucking 7. Son of a bitch. Okay, I have 4 available, which means I can't get body. I don't think have I bought any body yet? Pow, pow. Just get a couple dodge in there. Okay. We can fix this, Stubtoe. We can fix this. I'd like to see your wares. Lightning barrier, keep that. Air barrier, it's nice knowing you. Okay, +1 charisma, keep that. Okay, we do not have anywhere near enough money. Okay, thank you, Crafty. See you around. Ah, fuck, okay, so we just need 2. Armor lasts until the end of combat. That is incredible. We just got to do this next mission. That'll give us some walking around money. Whoa, hey everybody. You went to the trawler to find your crew gathered together waiting for you. Isobel has her head buried in her PDA. The rest of them stand watching her, trying to be patient. Did someone call a crew meeting? I told you I'm the one who gets to call crew meetings. Iz has been doing her homework on Josephine Sang and Sang Mechanical Services. The dwarf paces up and back, trying to decide how to begin. You're pacing, so that tells me you found something. Oh yeah, I found something all right. Isobel lifts her PDA to her face and consults her notes. In 2011, Sang Mechanical Services was a D-level corp floundering in the shadow end of the Hong Kong corporate pool. That's when Josephine Shui married into the family. Josephine thought big. She conceived of a massive project that would catapult TMS into the big time, something she called the Prosperity Project. Prosperity? That's what Raymond was mumbling about. What is the Prosperity Project? Once upon a time in the 1900s, the walled city was a densely populated slums. Something like 30,000 people crammed into 6.5 acres. Wait, I've heard this story. It's a shithole, hell on earth, yada yada yada. That's today's walled city, the second walled city. The first walled city started life well over 100 years ago and lasted through both world wars and almost through the Awakening. It was torn down in 1994 when the government had finally had enough. It had become such a haven for criminals that the corps would only enter it in large, well-armed groups. Nice, that's cops. Sounds familiar. In 2021, Josephine Sang proposed a vision for a new type of low-income housing project, the Prosperity Project, a self-contained, low-cost, walking neighborhood for the poor, but on a grand scale. The Prosperity Project would give Hong Kong's poor and the flood of refugees pouring into the country a place they could call their own. Something that felt more permanent than the sprawling tent city that spontaneously sprang up after the first walled city was demolished. The Prosperity Project would replace the tent city and would be symbolically built on the site of the old walled city. The slogan was, "A place of dignity where prosperity begins." The apartments weren't much bigger than the space you'd get in your average coffin motel, but they were built around plazas and marketplaces that contained goods and services catering to the poor. The government forgot the lessons of the last walled city. They loved the idea of containing the refugees and the poor to only a few densely populated blocks. It kept them out of the public eye. Securing the contract catapulted Sang Mechanical Services' fortunes ahead. It eventually put Josephine Sang on the executive council. One slum made her rich? It's a very big slum. Apparently, that was also the beginning of a series of lucrative building contracts that propelled TMS into the big time. Where's Raymond come into all this? Raymond Black doesn't come into it at all, but Edward Sang does. Who the fuck is that? That's your foster father's real name. What? Raymond Black was actually Edward Sang, the only son of Josephine Sang and her late husband Breakwater Sang. Edward was in charge of laying the groundwork for the walled city, excavation, utilities, running in power lines, sewage, that kind of thing, because he was an engineer. So our secret foster grandmother is trying to kill us? It looks that way, yeah. Racter chuckles to himself softly. Wait, this doesn't make any sense. Remember that massive gray water leak that flooded the basement back in 48? What about it? Ray didn't know the first thing about sewer lines. He had a small army of plumbers, probably paid him double what the job was worth to fix the thing, and it still took almost 2 months to get that leak under control. Not much of a utility expert, huh? So if this man was not in charge of the utilities for the project, what was he doing down there? I don't know, but Edward Sang disappeared from the public eye shortly after Prosperity was completed, around 2031. That's around the time he moved to Seattle, around 7 years before he found us. But what happened in the walled city? And what would make Raymond want to go back in there after all these years? That's a question for later. For now, let's make some money. Let's find out what happened to our father. Holy shit, karma just for flapping my gums? That's incredible. I still can't afford body though, can I? Nope. Good talk. Oh, did our pay data sell? Claim payment for sold pay data. Claim payment for the Wuxing logistical data. $150. What the fuck is this? Hey, Stubtoe Williams, I was able to cut out the proprietary bits of the files we recovered that work a few Nguyen. But there's a lot of junk data none of the buyers wanted. I've decided to archive the leftover paperwork, requisition orders, etc. Nothing special, but I figured I'd keep it on hand. God damn it, Isobel. Typhoon stalled offshore. Update on Typhoon Usagi. Infrared images of the storm Ida wall transition are really quite stunning, by the way. Typhoon Usagi is stalled in the South China Sea and is now weakening after passing north of the Philippines. Strong wind and periodic very heavy rains will continue as Usagi's arms sweep across the region. For the moment, Usagi is resisting the wind, which is causing it to lose strength. Prevailing winds will probably ultimately drive Usagi ashore west of Macau as it struggles to remain over water. According to Dr. Lance and Roki of the Imperial Japanese Meteorological Agency, even the most awakened storms have difficulty delaying their landfall for more than a week once they're in the South China Sea. Usagi will still be a full-strength typhoon when it makes landfall, but its delay fortunately gives people in the storm path more time to prepare. Look, babe, I just made this cartoonified typhoon for you. It's got a little purse and sparkles and bubble tea and 8 arms with assorted weapons and a necklace of skulls and everything. You're the best. The J-pop theme on the ammunition belts really takes it over the top, Amanita. You're a special person. Sang Mechanical Services, a rising star. Hello. Has anyone been keeping track of the Executive Council elections? It's almost time for the latest round. The competition is heating up. Up until this point, Tiantian CEO Sak Kok Chu looked like the best pick to replace Josephine Sang of Sang Mechanical Services. Despite Wuxing CEO Ken Zuling's rivalry with Chu, he had the support of both Yang Yin Fat of Shibata and Adrian Chung of Hildebrandt Kleinfort Bernal. Now, though, I'm not so sure. Josephine Sang seems pretty confident that she'll remain on the council. From what I've heard, she's cut a deal with Ares Asia, Monabi, and Eastern Tiger to stay out of their way. In exchange, they let her own Southeast Asia's large-scale construction projects. A cozy relationship like that could turn the tides against Tiantian. Your screen flickers as a trid clip begins playing. Josephine Sang, that cunt, stands at a podium addressing a crowd of reporters in front of a partially constructed skyscrapers. With the finalization permits approved for the Pak Thai Workers Complex here in Dongguan, I promise you that the prosperity of the city can only increase. This marks an auspicious day. Thousands of new jobs in construction, tens of thousands more when the project is complete, and low-cost housing for every worker. Some have said Sang Mechanical Services does not have the will to compete in a global market, that we're only a force to be reckoned with in Hong Kong, Africa, and South America. I say that our good fortune is your good fortune. Sang pounds the podium with a closed fist, nodding for emphasis. Sang Mechanical Services is more than a local company. Our star is rising and shows no sign of slowing. I asked the residents of Dongguan, who among you does not wish for a better life, a wealthier, happier life, one where your company is also your family and can protect you from the uncertainty of these trying times? We'll give you that life. We'll give you that protection and certainty. What a load of utter crap. It may be crap, but the people in Dongguan ate it up. The idea of signing with a local company that isn't Baihu, and believe me, they count Tianqian and Wuxing as foreign, was too much of a draw for them to pass on. I'm thinking that absent catastrophe, Josephine Sang, will be on the executive council in the next few days. Why do they count Wuxing as foreign? Tianqian, sure, they're headquartered in Beijing, but Wuxing's just as native to Hong Kong as Sang is. Wuxing and the Canton Confederation have been at odds since 2015. Wuxing's made a habit of exploiting the people of Guangdong and using loopholes to shield themselves from taxation. What's more, Wuxing was the primary mover in founding the Free Enterprise Zone, permanently stopping the Confederation's designs on Hong Kong. Sang took a different tactic. Josephine Sang started out by promising the Canton Confederation a very lucrative taxation agreement in exchange for low-cost, long-term lease on their facilities in Dongguan. She sweetened the deal by treating them like family rather than adversaries. She's got the meeting out of her hand. Punk metal hardcore? Got a collection of over 10,000 albums of punk, hardcore, hardcore light, thrash, thrash metal, heavy metal, light metal, death metal, metal nouveau, xenopunk, synth punk, cyber thrash, synthcore, Hong Kong ska, and triple umlaut bands like Umlaut. If there's an album you've been searching for, I might just have it. In return, I'm in search of any weird, obscure bands to add to my library. Let me know. Got any cybercore synth metal? As for what might interest you, I own the complete oeuvre of this German punk band, Messerkampf. Heard of them? Messerkampf? They're so mainstream. They're really big in the JIS. Really? Do they tour? Nah, man, I don't think so. Those Berlin anarchist bands never survive very long. Besides, I think they broke up a really long time ago. They're probably aging wage slaves now. And no idea that they're wildly popular on the other side of the planet. I think that might have been the band one of the dudes from Dragonfall was in. Looking for Decker again? Looking for an experienced Decker for a discreet milk run. You must not take experimental stims during runs. You must not tamper with chemicals in secret labs. You must have a good sense of humor. Knock, knock. You said a good sense of humor. It's a joke, see? At this point, we're actually more interested in hiring an experienced professional with a mature adult's impulse control. We've had some bad luck with our Deckers lately. The last one had 2 left feet and couldn't seem to stop stumbling into containers full of volatile substances. Poor runs with scissors 2056. Although by looking at her name, I guess we should have known. So basically, you guys are desperate for a Decker. Has anyone else contacted you? We can wait a little longer. Meet me. You guys are starting to get a bad rap, you know, jinxed. We're sunk, all of us. Swim. As some of you know, I have a keen interest in urban planning, geophysics, and anything involving our eventual and inevitable destruction. Appended is a recent summary on rising sea level in Hong Kong that expresses the issue well in lay terms. Freedom Cowboy. You complained my post titles are a bit sterile. How about this one? Article Mirror. The sinking of Hong Kong. From HK Newswire, Hong Kong's watery future. Images and external links redacted. The Joint Corporate Development Bureau has released a report on sea level rise in Hong Kong over the next 50 years. Since the year 2000, Hong Kong experienced 9 to 13 meters of water level rise, varying by location. Geologists cite a combination of Antarctic ice melting, the natural sinking of Hong Kong's artificial fill shorefronts, and forced subsidence caused by massive urban construction. Read more. Geologists predict a continued rise in water levels over the next 50 years, with slowing land subsidence being offset by the accelerating collapse of the Antarctic ice sheet. Quoting from government geologist Ao Mingxia, with up to 15 meters of subsidence expected over the next half-century, a large fraction of current Hong Kong will become submarine. Due to our population and small land base, abandonment of flooded land is no longer practical. Rigorous amphibious retrofitting of the city will need to continue. By 2100, the current coastal buildings will mostly rise from a canal environment. Engineering to protect Hong Kong? Engineering studies indicate that major improvements will be necessary in the coastal seawalls and on Victoria Harbour's Yering Wall, officially the anti-typhoon automated harbor defense jetty. Coastal protections will need to be raised by 0.5 meter per year to counteract the total effect of rising sea level and the worsening severity of super typhoons. The Development Bureau estimates that this may cost 250 billion new yen over the next 50 years. Oh wow, climactic models suggest that by 2100, storm surges impinging on Hong Kong shores may exceed 3 meters in height, with wind-driven waves during severe storms may reach 15 meters. So we're going to be running jobs from gondolas in 50 years? What's the message? When does some simple financial modeling and extrapolates the worsening severity or frequency of super typhoons along with the geological outlook, the actual message is that it may be necessary to abandon Hong Kong. WP, I take it back. Keep your sterile titles. What's so endearing about you is that you talk about the grimmest things like an accountant. Double entry accrual accounting is an amazing system. If more operators took an interest in it, they would have a much better long-term financial security, as well as be able to better interpret and manipulate materials encountered during their work. It's pretty ironic that your handle shorts to WP, normally associated with white phosphorus. Actually, Hatch, it's not. It's really not. White phosphorus is exceptionally useful, not merely because of its hypergolic ignition and the fact that once burning it is chemically immune to water quenching, but also because of its high adhesion and biotoxicity. I don't take pleasure in these qualities, but I appreciate them. Check my inbox for new messages. Urgent task? Mother's notes. What's this? Perm kindly check. Little birds have been whispering in my ear about an urgent and high-paying run. Steel Arm Lou, a red pole, managed to get his hands on information concerning a prototype laser weapon in development by Ares Asia Holdings. For years, the Yellow Lotus and the Red Dragon have been locked in a Cold War. Despite this, we remain evenly matched. Neither of us can attack the other without being exposed to devastating reprisals. Lou wants to change this, and he has a plan. Rather than strike directly, Lou intends to aim external forces at the Red Dragon, specifically Knight Errant. He intends to frame a white paper fan named Golden Fong, making it appear that the Red Dragon have been bribing Ares researchers for classified data. 2 leading drone and energy weapons researchers have recently transferred from London to Hong Kong and are running the project. Doctors Taylor and Hardingham were respected in Europe, but in Hong Kong they remain unknown quantities. They're entrusted and therefore are considered untrustworthy. Perfect targets, in other words. We'll provide data that will make it look as if the researchers were contacted by Golden Fong and made quite a bit of money but grew tired of the arrangement. Transfer the attached files to a data chip. The files are bundled with a worm program which will auto-execute when inserted in the appropriate systems. You need not bring a Decker, though one may be helpful. You'll need to plant data in the visitor records system, the camera systems in Hardingham and Taylor's lab. Financial data is to be transferred to Dr. Taylor's personal terminal. That in and of itself will not be enough to ensure Knight Errant involvement, however. Planting the data is only the first part of your task. This is where a heavier touch is required. You'll also need to steal the prototype laser weapon. There's a GPS tracking device attached to it, which Lou will plant deep in Red Dragon territory. The apparent theft of a prototype weapon by a disgruntled triad member should convince Ares to dispatch overwhelming force against the Red Dragon, dealing them a vicious blow. As a note, Lou does not care what becomes of the laser weapon. If you wish to sell it or keep it, feel free. I've also attached a map of your extraction route from the building. During the facility's expansion in 2052, Ares Asia was forced to extend their foundations deeper into the island. They drove piles through the former site of the central MTR station, which partially collapsed during the Dalu Bay earthquake of 2044. Practically, this means you can exit through the basement directly onto the new MTR line through Central. With any luck, you can be gone without anyone knowing how. Unfortunately, this route is heavily alarmed, so you will be forced to go in the front door. If you can con the front desk, you should have no problems. The facility is both an office and a residence, so strange people coming and going at odd hours is not unusual. If you're not up for fast talk, however, be prepared to shoot your way in. I am fucking so up for fast talk, kindly Cheng. Lou does not take care... No, he doesn't care if you're loud or quiet, but a word of caution. He came by all this information via the loose lips of one of the research team. Other fixers know of this job. Move fast, and you're guaranteed success. But there are definitely other Shadowrunners with an eye on your prize. I've ignored this for like 3 days. Take the run. Very well. Steel Arm Lou sends his regards and bids you good fortune and plentiful ammunition. The dramatic git. Don't die, Stubtoe Williams. Our arrangement has been very profitable so far, and I hate to lose that. Sure thing. You know what, characters? You're just going to have to fucking not develop, because I don't feel like wasting 20 minutes talking to all of you. I have too many jobs on the go. Head to the Ares facility to incite a conflict between Knight Errant and the Red Dragon Syndicate. As you move aboard the train, your PDA buzzes. Racter, answer the comm? His craggy face flickers on the screen. My friend, there is something that I'd like to discuss with you. Something related to the Ares run that you recently accepted. Go on. There were men, former colleagues of mine at that facility. I tracked them from Russia. They are thieves. They stole my research. Tracking them is the reason why I moved to Hong Kong in the first place. At long last, I can recover what's mine and bring the villains who stole it to justice, but I'll need your help to do it. Need you to bring me along on this job. God damn it. Okay, you'll be the first man on the train when we head out. Thank you, my friend. I'll be there directly. You'll not regret this decision, I guarantee it. The line goes dead. Alright. Gaichu, Racter, Gun Show. We're not doing any computer shit, apparently. Engage. Because that's the sound you say when you get on a subway train. Engage. Central Hong Kong spills out along Victoria Harbour, all glittering chrome and neon flash against the night's darkness. The skyscrapers are a jagged nest of mirrored knives thrust into the sky, rending the clouds as they ascend into the heavens. The Ares Asia Holdings complex squats menacingly over Chater Road, a steel and concrete tumor intertwined with nearby buildings, in a web of sky bridges and shared parking structures. You make your way inside and ascend to the 5th floor, a public foyer that connects to the restricted areas of the complex. As the elevator opens, you arrive in cold, dimly lit reception area. Beyond it, your quarry awaits. I'm really counting on you to not fuck this up, Racter. God damn it, I need that charm. +1 charisma. We want +1 conjuring. I have Calm available. Calm the fuck down. Exiting the Ares Asia Holdings elevator on the 5th floor of the skyscraper complex, the antiseptic odor of the megacorporation's offices assails your nostrils. The immaculately detailed interior speaks volumes of the wealth and control the North American industrial giant has come to wield over the free enterprise zone. Racter glances at his bracer, pulling up a page of notes on Ares Asia Holdings and scrolling through it. We're looking for a lab between floor 15 and 40. Everything below 15 is shopping and recreation, and the residential areas span 41 to 92. The auto repair circuit should be up there as well. I know Taylor and Hardingham. They'll keep it close to their main lab so they can work on the project in their off hours. And they'll need specialized testing equipment, things you can't fit in an apartment, even a big one. So everything we're looking for will be near the main lab? Yes, once we plant the altered visitor record data, we can find the lab's precise location. From there, everything we need should be nearby. Well, thank you, Racter.